I'd like to call to order the Monroe County Public Library Board of Trustees meeting for April 16th, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So moved. And now we're going to hear from Greer in the Director's Monthly Report.
Okay, some highlights. March saw record use of 2 of our e-library platforms. We saw our highest ever monthly use report for Overdrive, which is Libby, with over 51,000 total checkouts in March. A little over 2,500 of those checkouts were made via Sora, and that's the app that area schools use to access ebooks and e-content by grade level rather than having access to the entire MCPL Overdrive catalog. Hoopla also saw record use in March with over 12,000 total checkouts, and we continue to see strong use of the new Flex collection that we launched back in August. We held a mock Caldecott event last month, which found children's and collection development staff collaborating to determine which of the past decade's worth of Caldecott winners was the ultimate standout. The winner was Big by Vashti Harrison. The activity was a fun way to highlight award-winning books and to have children's staff engage with our children's collection development librarian in discussions about the merits of picture books and youth literature in general. We have our Southwest Seed Library up and running thanks to the great work of Southwest librarian Becky Kraft. We actually had a line at the door the day we launched this collection, and many Southwest patrons who've taken seed packets are now participating in a Make Your Own Salsa project. We're holding our 4th annual Youth Art Month contest and received over 200 entries from patrons across all branches and outreach service points. The theme is Color Our World, which anticipates this year's summer reading program theme, soon to launch next month. 8 winners will be chosen to have their artwork turned into a library bookmark, which will be one of many summer reading prizes. Our CATS website now offers captioning for all of our government meeting recordings. This project has been in the works for some time, and it's important from both a compliance and an accessibility standpoint. We added 3 new bookmobile stops in March. That's one for Beeline Heights Apartments, one for Garden Hill Mobile Home Park, and one for Marlin Elementary School. Outreach Services Manager Chris Jackson reports that it usually takes anywhere from 6 to 12 months for a new stop to generate regular patronage, but we're already seeing activity in a couple of those stops. And as expected, Senate Bill 1 did pass the Indiana State Senate and was signed by Governor Braun yesterday. The impact of the property tax relief bill on MCPL's operating budget is less severe than what was originally proposed and what we subsequently have been working on in planning for our 2026 and 2027 budgets. However, we're still talking about a reduction of approximately $350,000 in our annual revenue growth. This means we'll still need to make some operational adjustments, and we'll bring those proposed adjustments to you all in June or July as part of our draft fiscal year 26 budget. Right now, we're considering which potential adjustments will save us the most money while having the least negative impact on patrons. Happy to answer any questions about the director's report.
Can you explain in the final version of SB1 that did pass, do you have any more sort of takeaways that you'd like to share that are relevant for the board?
Not that's relevant to MCPL specifically in our budget. I am just sort of following the news and understanding the final version of the bill. There are a lot of municipalities that are going to be considering increasing local income tax to make up for the revenue shortage, so there's still going to be some potentially significant impacts on social services in other communities and our own. But as we were really worried about the significant shortage in revenue growth for MCPL's budget going forward, is a bit of a relief to see it's a manageable amount of money, but that still is going to require some adjustment. So when we bring those forward to you all, we'll talk through why we're going to make those recommendations, how much money we expect it to save for us, and again, ultimately why we would choose that, because our goal is always to minimize impact on patrons above all else.
And thankfully, we have news of this in enough time to adjust what we're going to do for next year's fiscal budget.
Absolutely, yeah. We're still at sort of like the early stages of our budget season, so we have ample time to make plans and bring forward some proposals for you all in July.
Anyone else have any questions? questions, comments? Okay, well, we are in a rare position where we do not have old business or new business to discuss tonight, so we're going to move on to presentations. And we have Josh Wolf to present for Public Services and Programming.
Thank you. My name is Josh Wolf. I'm the Director of Public Services. Just want to talk to you a little bit about how public services and programming have evolved and led us to where we are. Just as an introduction, I've been a librarian since 1999, which I realize sounds like a Prince song. Been a librarian since 1990. That's been in my head all day since I thought of that.
Please do that as a marketing.
You're all going to be cursing me tomorrow when that song is stuck in your head. We did have public computers and internet when I started, but yes, a lot has changed. I won't regale you with the list of those things because it'll make me feel very old. Obvious things have gone away: records, cassettes, tapes, circulating artwork that you can hang on your wall for 3 weeks. My speaking notes are now in 17-point font because that's what I need to see them. But apart from this race through formats, we continue to evolve library services, library programming at a pretty rapid clip. I would have never predicted back then that we would hold book clubs in bars and coffee shops, that we would have nature walks off-site deep into the woods with our patrons, and not just adults, but children as well. Toy swaps during the holidays, after hours when the libraries close, dances and festivals for all ages. These are obvious, they're very visible changes that you can see by looking at our marketing. But we've also, a little bit less visibly, divided public services initiatives into more discrete ages so that we can better sort of focus down on our patrons at different stages of life and through their development. Children's services and its programming efforts were somewhat monolithic when I started out, but now we focus our resources and our staffing on prenatal patrons and, well, the caregivers, but they make music on their bellies, babies, toddlers, preschool. These are all divided, preschool through K, tweens, teen services. Sam, the teen service manager, spoke at length last month, so I won't go into much detail about that, but it's instructive as I was thinking about this that 10 years ago, last March, we didn't have a teen services department at all, and it was always kind of slapped on very clumsily in many cases, although the people who did it were quite talented, and going back to Dana, who was Librarian of the Year at the time, it was hard, though, and it was sort of a constant battle to do. Now, we wouldn't consider any kind of restructuring of services or any new spaces without giving our teen patrons the same attention and care and focus that we give every other age. And it wasn't always the case. Even adult services now specializes in new adults, workforce development, the arts, seniors. We try to look at every stage. Across these departments, we're looking at how to provide services for our patrons from before they're born all the way until the last stages of their life. The net has grown very wide for us. We've also begun to partner across departments. So we really try to look at what programs can work for children and teens together, what programs can work for teens and adults together. How can we have an intergenerational focus that will once more sort of help move our patrons through the services that we want to provide. And now that we're a 3-branch system and we're still learning how to do that, we really are partnering more and more across locations. Really, I think of us as a 4-branch system because our outreach services are really robust, and the bookmobile, the assisted living facilities with the van service, the jail service. It's I think more appropriate to think of us as kind of a four-branch system. So that's mostly where I come in. I coordinate with all the public services managers to help ensure that system-wide procedures, programs, services, that they're going to work everywhere. Although we strive for a certain level of consistency across because we are one system, these places evolve to serve patron groups that are diverse and sometimes unique to the neighborhoods around them or the people who can come there. It's a really exciting job, and it does, I know it's natural to feel like things speed up faster and faster and change speeds faster and faster, but I think it's just always been kind of quick. It's like we got on a train a long time ago, and it's sort of moving at the same pace. I was a programming librarian for 15 years. I still do a tiny bit of it. And I had a pretty big ego, actually. I'll just be honest about what I did. But what they're doing now and the kind of ideas the programmers are coming up with is humbling. Things we never would have thought of back in the day. The floor is lava. The seed library that you were talking about. Having teens run their own role-playing games. That is really hard, to ask a teen to hold a group of peers together in a cooperative enterprise that's basically storytelling in an improvisational way. They're doing that. It's impressive. The CHOP challenge, these things that fill up as soon as they go live. We've always said that we like to surprise and delight, and this group now continually surprises me and delights. And I'm sharing today with Dana Duffy, our program coordinator, who I will now introduce to come up and talk a little bit about some of our newer sort of cross-audience and cross-departmental outreach initiatives that we're doing. Thanks.
Hello, I am Dana Duffy. I am the program coordinator here, so I play a support role for public services. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what we do. That one of the aspects of my job is to coordinate the staff to go out and do outreach events. So we have an outreach department, so it's a little bit confusing. This is not part of the outreach department. This is going out and doing community outreach. So we go to different events around Monroe County. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of our efforts and what we do for that. They usually involve multiple organizations in town, but they're really concentrated pretty heavily with IU because IU does so many community events. So we do find that we do a lot of work with IU. And generally what we do is when we go out to these events, we bring a table, and we have a branded tablecloth that we have, and we bring brochures, we bring library cards. Sometimes we bring some books or some leftover summer reading program prizes that people like to take with them. But the thing that by and large they love the most are the stickers. They love our stickers. Our marketing department does this great job with these stickers. And one sticker that we have that whenever we go to an event at IU that all of the students want, it's a sticker that has like a little fist in the air, and it says, "What is more punk than a public library?" So they all love that sticker. So we always have to make sure that we have a supply of those whenever somebody's going to go out and do one of these outreach events. It's really simple to do. We take our laptops and we tell people that they can go to our website on their phone, and they can apply for a library card right on their phone, and then we find that information on our laptop, and we make sure that they're a Monroe County citizen, that they filled it out all right, and then we hand them a library card that they are good to go, that they can use, and the whole interaction takes about 3 minutes. So it's really a successful event. People don't get frustrated. I think it really kind of shows that we know what we're doing, and we really, really want you to have a library card. Some of our biggest events, like I said, at IU, the biggest one there that we do is First Thursdays. So we always do First Thursdays. We have a booth. And this year we're going to, we always collaborate with them with Grand Falloon. But this year with Grand Falloon, they're going to have all of these little mini golf courses that they're going to build around town, and the library is going to have one of these little mini golf courses. And so it's just one hole, but we'll have it right out there on the plaza. And ours is Ice 9 from the book Cat's Cradle. And so they set up the little mini golf course right in next to us during First Thursday. So we had a lot of students come over for that. We estimate we probably talk to about 200 people. A lot of times people just want to come over and tell us that they love the library. But we signed up, and usually we sign up around 50 people for library cards when we go to First Thursday. So that's a really good, successful event for us. We also participated in the first Bloomington Book Festival. That was at Morgenstern's, and it was great. We were outside. It was in November, and the weather was beautiful, so we were very happy about that. We had people who did sign up for library cards, but we also shared that booth with the Friends, and the Friends were able to tell people about what the Friends of the Public Library do, and they were able to let people know how they could become involved with the Friends. So that was kind of a nice collaboration that we did with the Friends. We also, just kind of a list of some of the other things that we've done. We went to the IU Asian Fest this year for the first time. That was fun. The Graduate Resource Fest. We went to the Bloomington High School North's Healthapalooza. That was, our teen librarians went to that. Fairview Elementary Open House, the Monroe County Transition Fair, and that provides resources for caregivers and parents who are working with children on the autism spectrum. And one of our children's librarians went to a piece of Latin America at Switchyard Park. We've been to the Lotus Art in the park, and then also the Bloomington Volunteer Fair. And so some of these events are specifically linked to particular ages. So when the children's librarians went to the Lotus Art event, they brought some crafts with them, and so that they could work with children and do crafts. And then, of course, with the Bloomington Volunteer Fair, Bethany Turrentine from Vital, she went to try to recruit people to become volunteers for Vital. So we always have a really good time whenever we go to these events, and we get really good feedback from the community when we're at the event. So it's kind of just like a feel-good thing for the staff to do. So thank you, unless you have any questions. All right, thank you.
That is a difficult one, but do you know what percentage of county citizens have a library card?
Do you know that, Josh?
I have seen it before, but it just
Yes,
your
I have too.
initiatives of signing people up are great. 56,500 registered patrons. Okay, so I can do my own math. Okay. Okay. Yeah, great. Cool.
Do you take kind of like suggestions, maybe like if someone knows of an event coming up, like with Monroe County Schools or anything, what's the best way to, is it just email type of a situation and let somebody know that?
Lorraine, generally it's easiest if you email the office. Lorraine, what is the
Like if someone has a suggestion.
Yeah, through patron comments. Yeah, because those get forwarded to me, and then I can kind of decide who it is that would be the best person to go. Sometimes it's me, so and that's fun. All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Anyone online? Okay. Okay. Great. Motion to adjourn.